Hey, let's talk about it. Let me be upfront here, right? I This is completely my responsibility. I am at fault. Okay. I am not saying that it's nobody else's fault. It's literally, this is me, right? So the fact that the live wire is not here right now, the fact that I had all these problems and I replaced all these parts, this is all on me. Let me just say that. So what happened? All right, I'll go through what happened and then we'll just cover other stuff as we go. So it was April 4th. I'm riding, I'm doing my thing, having a great time. I'm out with my helmet cover. I'm jamming. And I hate that it happened with the helmet cover. I am so sorry, fellow helmet cover wearers. I am perpetuating the stereotype and I apologize. So I hate that it happened when I was wearing that. But anyway, so I'm riding. There's a guy who's got a trailer in front of me. I'm chilling. I'm keeping safe distance, all that good stuff. There's a guy on the side of the road, on the opposite side, and he's walking like this homemade pit bike looking thing. I don't know what it was. Still don't know what it was. And I see him, and I'm looking forward in the footage. You can see me kind of like going like this, but I'm actually looking to the left with my eyes. I'm just kind of like, what the hell is this guy riding? What is that? What is he pushing? Does he need help? Is he hurt? Does he need to jump? When I ride, I carry in my backpack. It's a tire inflator and jump box in one. I have a tire plug kit and a first aid kit. It's come in handy so many times for myself and other people that I've helped that I just always carry with me. And then even if I drive my truck, I take it out of the backpack and I put it in the truck because it's just come in handy. Nice. So I'm riding, I'm looking, and then as I'm like getting ready to pass him, I actually look, and then I put my hand out to like wave, like, hey, I'm going to turn around, just check on here in a second. By the time I look forward, I've got a second, at most two, to avoid what's about to happen, right? So my first instinct, I need to slow down. So on the live wire that I have, the regen, I have it all the way up. It is strong to the point where if I'm riding and I let go, it's like I'm gently to medium, like hitting the brakes. It'll slow me down quite a bit, just letting off the throttle. So I let off the throttle and I'm doing both brakes. The tire screech that you hear is my rear brake, my rear tire, because it is really sensitive. Even without pulling fuses, it has traction control and ABS. Even if I don't pull any fuses or turn anything off, if I hit that rear brake, it's going to skid a little bit, right? So I do that, and I'm grabbing the front brake. Now, I don't slam the front brake. I practice panic braking. I've done a lot, and I've prevented a lot of mistakes on my part and accidents by knowing how to brake properly. I've practiced that quite a bit. And I attribute to my bike and myself not taking more damage from that practice and the engine or the regen from the live wire. The impact happens, right? And I lift up off the seat and I go, okay, I lifted up off the seat. This is all going in slow motion. And okay, this is embarrassing, whatever. I'll apologize to the guy. We'll go about our way. But the next thing I know, I am upside down and I'm looking at my own bike, the front of my bike, while upside down. And I'm going, huh. All right, this is a little more involved than I thought it was going to be. And then I go, this is going to suck. Like, this is going to be really bad. And, you know, my body, you can feel when you're in like danger or you hit something, your body has this kind of like weird reaction. Like there's a certain like smell that happens because I think it affects like your nose and your head or whatever. And then like there's an impact and I'm rolling and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And I stop and I'm like, did that really just happen? You know, and I'm looking at the asphalt like, what the hell? Because again, in my head, all I did was hit lightly. It didn't even feel like that hard of a hit. And how it just went up in the air. So I'm like, oh, well, oops, you know, that kind of thing. But no, I'm on the ground And I'm like, did I really just do this? Did that just happen? Did I really just wreck my bike like an idiot? Wow. What a moron. I wasn't paying attention. What an idiot. And I thought, well, I should just lay here and wait for the ambulance and all that stuff. And then it starts like clicking in my head, like, oh man, what's going to happen to my bike? Is my bike okay? This is going to be costly and embarrassing. I feel like I'd be putting people out. I have to have an ambulance come get me and all this crap, and traffic is gonna get backed up. And I'm thinking about how there's always those posts on Facebook, like, oh, rider down, check on your fellow riders and stuff. I was like, I don't want that to be a thing. So I thought, okay, let me see if I'm okay. So I get to my feet and I'm, hey, nothing's like, my leg isn't folding in under its own weight. Like, I'm okay. Okay, cool. And I look around. The guy who I was looking at to see if he needed help now is running over to check on me. Damn. The guy who I hit, his trailer, he's running over and he's going, "Are you okay, buddy? Are you doing all right? You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm good. I feel okay. I'm fine." And then the guy who I was looking at, he starts picking up like pieces because I see my mirror and I'm like, "Oh, damn. Ah, man, like I wrecked the bike. Fuck." Motorcycles, that's one of the worst things about motorcycle is they are not like the most durable thing in the world. If you have a bike and you crash even lightly, those fairings are expensive. Even if you get the most basic fairings from China, it's like $250. So I'm like, damn, like bikes just aren't durable. So I'm thinking the worst. And then the guy, hey, are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm fine. How's the trailer? Did I mess up the trailer? And he goes, it's fine. I'm not worried about that. Like, I'm just want to make sure you're okay and all this. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, all right, let's check on the bike. I look at it. It's just laying on the ground. I know that the handlebar is like a little messed up and everything. So I'm like, all right, let me get this up. This thing's 549 pounds, and I am nowhere near any kind of strong. I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm a weak ass bitch. I can't. There's nothing I can do. I'm not lifting this thing. So the guy who I was originally looking at, who's not helping me, hey, can you help me lift this thing? We can't get it. And the guy who I hit is now like, oh man, the bike all right? Just now, I was like, yeah. Would you help me try to lift it? So all three of us, we managed to get it up, and we get it off the road and into the grass. And I put the kickstand down. I'm like, oh, you can set it down. He's like, I got your bike, buddy. Don't worry about it. Like, I got it. And I'm like, I mean, you can just if it goes down to whatever, it's fine, man. He's insistent. He's like, I will not put the bike down. It's fine. He's like, if you want to check everything's okay and you want to just go ahead and get out of here, you can. Because one, he doesn't want to deal with the law. You can tell. And at this point, I'm questioning. Well, should I sit here and like, no, we have to report this and blah, 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 since he's so kind of eager to like, hey, man, if you don't want to worry about the cops, I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Something like, yeah, just in case like there's damage to the motorcycle or whatever, maybe I'm not okay. But I keep thinking about like the repercussions of this. My insurance is going to go up, all this other stuff, right? He's fine. I check on the bike. It turns on. Everything's fine. It's just a little worse for wear. The handlebar's bent, that kind of thing. Now, at this point, right, mind you, I've crashed. The guys have checked on me. We've established that the trailer is fine and whatnot, and that the bike is running. This entire time, now I was listening to music at the time, and my phone killed that music because Life 360 completely took over. It just dawned on me at that point that Life 360 has been like, hey man, have you been in an accident? We detected a sudden jolt. Are you okay? Right? I'm not responding because I don't want to throw out an alert to my family saying, hey, I crashed, right? Then my wife calls me and I said, okay, I got to take this because I know exactly why she's calling. So I take the call and she asked me, hey, Life 360 told me there was a sudden jolt. Are you okay? And I said, I've been in an accident. And she goes, oh shit. And I go, no, 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 no. I was like, I hit a guy who was towing a trailer. I hit the trailer. I went over the handlebars. We're on the side of the road. I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't feel hurt. My bike's okay. We're taking care of it. We're about to just go our separate ways. And then at that point, that's when like my foot starts hurting a little bit. And I'm like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it home. I'm going to take the bike home. I've decided. And afterwards, we'll go to the ER. And she goes, okay, cool. So hang up with her. I just put the phone away because Life 360 is still like nagging me about it. And so I make sure everything's okay, make sure I got everything, like the mirror I put in my bag. I got all the stuff. And then, there's a line of cars now and they're all like, oh my God, are you all right? I'm like, it's fine. And so I start the bike, traffic is gone. And I said, hey, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Yada, yada, yada. And the guy offers like, hey man, if you're not doing okay or whatever, I can take your bike. I have a trailer. He's like, and I live just up the road and I can just tow it to the house. We can go to my house and, I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm good. Because again, this guy's trying to avoid the law. And now he's like, hey man, come over to my place. So I'm just like, look, I'm good. So I start riding at home. With every passing minute, my foot and my ribs are bad and they're just getting worse. At this point, I'm thinking my foot is broken and I have broken ribs. That's just it. This is gonna like suck, right? So I make it home, and I'm trying not to like go fast on the main roads, because there's an issue with the bike where I don't have any kind of regen. I don't have anything, and then the throttle is like sticking. So if I go like this, it just stays in that position. I didn't want to risk. I don't know if my brakes are still working properly, so I'm just taking the back roads home. I finally get home. I change. My wife comes home, and I said, okay, let's go to the ER. So we go to the ER and everything. And I go in there, and like before I'm done like signing in, like getting my information, they already called my name. I'm like, do I just go back? Like, what's going on? They give me a wristband. I go there, and they're asking me questions, and they're like, how fast were you going? And I said, 35. I'm pretty sure I hit that guy at 35 because the speed limit's 45. And I think I just slowed down just enough to where, it didn't, like, because my bike didn't take like an insane amount of damage. It was still working, handlebars were bent, like, you know what I mean? So I don't think it was that bad. So 35, I'm estimating, is about where I was going. But because my local hospital is trying to become like this trauma center thing or whatever, that for them is trauma code yellow. And he's like, listen, because you're doing 35, you're, blah, blah, blah. And so they announce over the intercom for the whole hospital, trauma alert, code yellow. Trauma alert, code yellow, room 12, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what the hell? What is going on? He's like, listen, when you get in that room, there's going to be over a dozen people and it's just going to be boogie time. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what the hell is happening? So we get in the room, and sure enough, there's over a dozen people in there, and they're stripping me naked, and they're prepping my arm for IVs, and they're putting, sensors on me and stuff, and they're taking blood pressure, put the oxygen sensor, and they're, hey, they want a urine sample and blood, and asking me a bunch of questions. They immediately have to do an ultrasound, make sure everything on the insides is doing fine. And they're scheduling x-rays and a CT scan. And so like it's just a whirlwind of stuff. We do the CT scan and the x-ray and everything. Nothing's broken. There's no like internal bleeding that they can see, or like, they've checked because of the ultrasound. So I'm fine. I'm just bruised up, banged up. And they're like, we're going to get you a boot. I told them my foot is in bad shape and everything. Now, mind you, I still have the little oxygen thing on my finger, the IV, and I have the little sensors, right? So the lady comes in like, oh, here's the medication they're going to give you or whatever. Here's your boot. And then she sits there and she starts taking my IV off. Now, as somebody who is taking out an IV, you want to like gently like, oh, this, tape kind of sucks. Let's just, slow it. No. I don't know what I did to this woman. I don't know if she had a loved one that died from riding or who got into a bad accident, or she just is tired of riders having accidents or something. But she was not a happy person with me. She was not happy. She proceeded to take the tape right here. The IV is still in, and the tape's around it. She yanks it off, all of it, and literally just plucks the IV out. And I'm just like, oh, I literally was like, oh, I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? And she's like, that's what you get for crashing at 35 miles an hour. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And then she just throws that stuff away and sanitizes her hands and just leaves. Left the oxygen thing on my hand and the little sensors on my body. I had to take those off myself. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Are you serious? What do you mean? What do you mean? What the hell was that? But anyway, get out of there. And now I can't drive at this point. And it was about, I think, 3 or 4 days before I could drive. Because I had crashed like on a Friday. So my wife had to take the kids to school and pick them up, I think for a couple of days, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't even like push down with my foot or anything because I was in bad shape. And then I just tried to recover as best as I can. It's like I said, we're 3 days from it being a month, and I feel good enough to where I can like do whatever. I want to ride again, but unfortunately, with the live wire, what I had ordered a handlebar, the right side grip, there was something else. Oh, the brake lever. I think that was about it. That was all I needed to replace. Oh, and the brake reservoir cover, right? So I waited, and it took a couple of weeks. Got that stuff in. I replaced it. Now I have to take the display off and all that good stuff. And in the crash, there was a little bubble that formed in the top right corner of the display. Just a little bubble. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not a big deal. It's just like a bubble thing or whatever. Fine. So anyway, I replaced all that stuff. Bike just for some reason is not working now. And I'm like, well, that's weird. All I did was just replace stuff. Like I didn't change anything really. So I was like, damn it. Now I needed a right turn signal, but they're $198. So I have a 3D printer now. So I'm just going to 3D print like some sort of bracket or something because I'm not going to pay $200 for a turn signal. That's absurd. But I had, you have to unplug a bunch of stuff because to take the handlebar out, you have to take the display off, and there's all kinds of cables I run through. Anyway, what it was is the fork lock cable wasn't fully like connected back in, so I connected it. Bike works just fine. Great, cool. The only problem is that when I hold the brake down, the front brake, like it brakes, but if I just keep holding it, it just loses pressure. And then it just is not working anymore. I can let go and re-brake and it's fine, but it's just not really properly functioning. Now I was sitting there and I like let the pressure just kind of like fall out, and I hit it again real quick and I heard, and I was like, huh. And I determined it was from the ABS module where all the lines go in, but I don't have enough leverage to like tighten things or whatever. So I said, for now, whatever. Excuse me. And so I said, okay, well, I'll just deal with this now until I get proper tools, because shallow like ratchet or something, and I'll tighten it and we'll go from there, right? Now I'd ridden the bike the day before, my full-on normal ride, no issues, none whatsoever. And then I go the next day and I'm gonna go ride to the city I was at before I crashed and everything. I'm on my way. I stop at a stoplight. I had pretty much just left. I go, and soon after, the throttle just like fully like goes, but there's no power. I lost all throttle, all power, and on the screen it just says motor fault. And it just, I have nothing. It's not working anymore. So I managed to coast into a gas station and park the bike. I said, oh crap. So I was like, well, let me turn off the bike, go into diagnostic mode, see what comes up. I turn off the bike, but the display is just staying on, just motor fault. It takes a couple of minutes and it finally just kind of like fades away. So I'm like, okay. I go to do the diagnostic, screen's no longer working. The left turn signal will blink and it turns on. Same with the tail light and the headlight. Rear turn signals work. I have an LED strip that's connected to like auxiliary power. That turns on, but the screen's just not working. So I'm like, oh crap. And nothing I'm doing is just working anymore. And then after a couple times, nothing is lighting up at all. And I'm like, oh jeez. So I had my wife come pick me up. I go rent the trailer. I pick the bike up. I bring it home. Fine. And I thought, well, maybe the 12-volt battery is dead now because none of the auxiliary power is working at all. So I take the 12-volt battery out, charge it overnight, pop it back in, nothing. Now it's just fully, completely gone. I said, crap. And at this point, I thought, well, I'm about to do a couple of big things and take a big trip. I can't deal with this right now, and I can't afford it because live wire service is expensive. And a turn signal is $200. Like, I don't know if I can do this. You know what I mean? But with this having that problem after I crashed, and now it's just not working at all, I need to have it serviced ASAP. Because what if I leave it sit here for a month or whatever, and then it just gets worse, or you know what I mean? So I scheduled the service for that day. This is the following day after it stopped working. And I take it up to Livewire near me, and they said they'll get to it Friday, which is, it's been 2 days, so here we are Friday. And I don't know what's going on with it. I have no idea. Hopefully the guy will give me a call and let me know today. But I will say, if it needs a new battery or motor or the RESS, or onboard charger, I don't know if I'll get those replacements. And that's a little worrisome because I love this bike. It's an absolutely amazing bike. It's great. But a new battery, if it's not covered under warranty, is $7,000. The bike is, I bought it for $20,000. That's almost half the value of the bike. I think a new res is like $6,000 and a new onboard charger is like $3,000. New onboard charger wouldn't be as bad. That would still suck though. I'm hoping it's just some loose connector or something or whatever. My only other real concern is on the motor on the bottom, right? So you have the front wheel here, here's the wheel, and then the motor's like down here at the bottom. There is like a scrape on the front of the motor cover where it looks like when the accident happened, the forks in the wheel bent back enough to scrape the front motor cover. But the forks do not look bent at all. They're perfectly aligned and everything. And I thought, well, man, that distance is pretty short. I mean, it's literally like this far apart. I thought, well, maybe everything's bent and I don't even realize it. But looking at reference photos and videos and everything, that's about right. So I'm not worried about that so much, but the fact that it's just not even turning on is an issue. So again, I don't know what's happening with it right now. I am bikeless. Like I said, it's basically a month without riding. And for somebody who rides even in wintertime, even if it's freezing, to go this long without riding and only getting like literally like a ride in 20 feet or something like that in that month, like I am dying here. And I've had previous bikes, and I had just gotten rid of a second bike that I had, that was accompanying the Livewire, because I just didn't want to like make payments on it and all that. But like now I'm bikeless, and I'm just like, damn. No. Let me be upfront here, right? This is completely my responsibility. I am at fault. Okay, I am not saying that It's nobody else's fault. It's literally, this is me, right? So the fact that the live wire is not here right now, the fact that I had all these problems and I replaced all these parts, this is all on me. Let me just say that, okay? I might splice this in the beginning part just to say, hey, look, the accident, 100% my fault. I was not paying attention. I was not doing what I'm supposed to do. Your only job as a rider and a driver, and I constantly spout this, and I didn't listen to my own advice. Pay attention. Literally, your only job is to pay attention. And I did not do the one and only thing you're supposed to do when you're riding. That is my fault. You'll see riders who kind of almost like look for trouble and they will try to weasel out of their way, even though like blatantly on video that they're showing, they are at fault. Everything is there on their end. They will try to blame other people, especially people who are like flying down a residential road and a car pulls out in front of them. You were doing 70 and a 35, dude. How is this any of their fault? Anyway, my fault. I was literally looking left. Literally. And let me address because I had posted the video on TikTok and it went like, viral or whatever. I think it's almost at 1 million views, tons and tons and tons of comments. And the main comment that I saw, surprisingly, was that, hey, I'm glad you're okay. The second one was like, damn, that was funny. And people felt bad for laughing. I'm like, no, laugh because it was hilarious. I'm in a helmet cover. I'm not paying attention. The footage, it's wild. The footage sounds like a gunshot and like a movie sound when I land, like, blah, 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 blah. But it sounds like a gunshot. It's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's crazy. But no, I laughed. I was in the hospital and the 360 camera had just enough battery for me to pull the footage to look at it. And I thought it was the funniest thing. And then when I got home a few days later, that's when I made the video and all that, and I posted it on TikTok. And then the other thing that I saw a lot is people going, pay attention. Like, again, no shit. No shit. Like, I even put in the description and all that, like, I'm an idiot. I didn't pay attention, all this other stuff. And it's like, that was the whole point of the video. I didn't post it for views. I didn't post it to kind of a punching bag because I wanted people to see like, hey, literally pay attention. Learn from my mistake. I was not paying attention. Learn from that. You'll end up like me. Period. The other thing I saw was people thought I was on my phone or I was looking at my phone because my phone mounts on the left here and the 360 camera is kind of like on the right side of the handlebar and I'm looking left. So they thought I was looking down at my phone, but you're looking at the video. I'm clearly going like this and waving at somebody, not on my phone. So it just was like weird. People going, get off your phone, dude. Like, what? You're talking about me not paying attention. You didn't pay attention to the video you just watched, my guy. But anyway, so yeah, don't be me. Pay attention. Don't be stupid. Pay attention. I learned my lesson. When I rode again, that full time, I was paying attention. Trust me. I was not goofing around. I didn't immediately slap another helmet cover and start, oh my God. I was paying attention. Am I going to do helmet cover stuff? Absolutely. Yeah, you kidding me? It's worth seeing so many people like smile and be happy and get a kick out of that. And, it feels good to like uplift people. Even if they're like laughing at me for looking like a dork, at least it'll give them a little bit of like happiness to like laugh at me. You know what I mean? It's worth it. But hopefully I get news about the live wire sometime today. Hopefully there's some sort of resolution to all this. And hopefully if you're watching this and you stuck around to the end, I appreciate you. Like, subscribe. Don't be an idiot. Pay attention and let me know your thoughts on it. Have you had an accident? Let me know about it. I want to hear about it. Tell your side of the story. I encourage you to do the same. So I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you next time. Peace.